Alright, YouTube family, I'm still in traffic. But I can't complain. I'm alive and well, and I'm in one of the greatest countries in the world. So hey, I can't complain, man. I gotta love it. Gotta love it. And no matter where you are in life, as long as you're alive and well, you can't complain. Keep pushing, man. Your circumstance could be worse, and I've seen some worse circumstance. Nonetheless, let's get on to business. So here I was reading recently, and I keep asking myself this question. I was reading an article about boxing, ESPN Sports. Those journalists over there, somebody must have put down the cafe latte macchiato and decided to write a good article. They wrote an article about the boxing pension fund. Okay? So apparently, I don't quote me on this, I could be wrong when the California Athletic Association has a boxing pension fund. And if I'm wrong, I'll make a correction at the bottom of the video giving it right. But nonetheless, it's a athletic commission, right? And what they've been doing is, for every event the promoter puts on, they charge is an additional tax on the ticket. And the tax on the ticket, that money goes into a separate fund to provide a pension for fighters once they get to a certain age that they're eligible for the pension, right? Well, turns out that a lot of the fighters were not being able to collect their pension because, one, they were unaware of the pension, and two, the athletic commission had problems tracking them down. So the state went ahead and hired a detective to track every single one of them down so they could get their money. Some of them had like millions of dollars in pension money that they should have been getting. Look at this. Did you see that? This truck was on the shoulder, just came over and cut me off. Woo, woo. What you gonna do about that? That's alright. I forgive him. I let it ride. I mean, if he's stuck in holiday traffic, I guess he did crazy things. Or maybe he has to go to the bathroom. Probably eat a bad burrito at the that's a 7-Eleven. Probably eat a bad burrito somewhere. And then after eating a bad burrito, he's stuck in traffic. Probably just farting up inside the cab, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna shart my pants. Let me cut people off in traffic. I gotta get to a bathroom. Yeah, look at him. Yeah, he's aggressively pushing his way through. So maybe he's trying to make it to. Hopefully you can see him. There he is. Now he's stuck in front of me. So he's aggressively trying to make it to the bathroom, I guess. Alright. So where was I before that guy just interrupted me? Okay. So Dana White, no. So I'm looking up pension fund on UFC. Dana White says the reason why he can't start a pension fund or 401k plan or any kind of matching, any kind of pension for UFC fighters is because it's hard to get fighters to give up their money to contribute towards the plan. And right away, I'm saying to myself, let's see how this. I'm going on that bridge, by the way, so the light might go out. So right away, I'm saying to myself, pension and benefits. Okay. So you start giving them insurance already, and then now you give them benefits. That's going to pull them under the category of an employee. That's going to weaken the class action lawsuit against their defense against the UFC's defense against the class action lawsuits. Because now those people will actually be considered employees, so therefore they're going to be getting some back pay and some more stuff. So the UFC can't keep hiding around this you're a contractor, you're an employee kind of weird line that they have going on. Now there's a category of employment called it's called, they call it PC, which is I think it's practicing consultant. If you work, if you guaranteed the minimum of 30 hours if you work 6 days a week, and if you go over you get paid for the full. If you work a partial day, that's still considered a full day. Okay, enough to talk about that type of stuff. But the point I'm making is that I don't see the UFC doing the pension thing, because that would start giving the fighters more rights in terms of making it seem like they're more of employees than they are contractors. In addition to that, Dana White says it's hard to get the fighters to give the money. Of course, it's going to be hard to get the fighters to give up the money. Think about this. You get paid every 6 months. During that time, you're accumulating bills. You're accumulating rent or mortgage. You're accumulating car note. You're accumulating gym fees. And then you're not generating any income. Then you finally get $10,000 after 6 months. Okay, we call it 20. 10 to show, 10 to fight. Alright, you get $20,000 after 6 months. 6 into 20. 6 fours is 24. So I'm going to say 6 into 20. That means 3 6s is 18. That comes out to around $2,000 a month. Now, so you're making $2,000 a month and your bills backed up on you. By the time you get that money, it's a tow truck outside going beep, beep, beep. They're towing your car, bruh. You're late on your car note. That's what I'm trying to explain. So if these guys don't make money frequently, they make money every 10 months. By the time they get their money from the little money that they get for fighting and the Reebok deal, they have bills to pay and families to provide for. There isn't that much disposable income left over because they have to pay the gym fees, expenses. All right, let me give you an example. Let's make it simple. I'll use round numbers. Let's say a fighter makes $100, right? Estimate 23% of that go to cover fees, gym fees, fighting fees, and travel expense. Okay, so that's $23 from 100. That leaves him with $77. All right. No, he's got $77. My wife said, "Oh, great, he's got $77. Only one problem here. No, he has to pay self-employment tax for both employer and employee. You know why? Because he's self-employed. He's his own employee, so he has to pay self-employment tax for both employer and employee. Then, in addition to self-employment tax, now he has to pay state, federal unemployment. Then, after state and federal income tax that he has to pay. And now, granted, let me explain something. When you pay your state and your federal income tax, you make quarterly payments. Now, there's a rule called the safe harbor rule. So let's say you make over a certain amount. I forgot the amount. I think it's 110,000 previous year or whatever, or over 100,000 or over a certain amount. You have to pay 110% of your estimated tax that you paid the last time each quarter. You'll get back the difference. Okay, so keep in mind that after you take out those taxes, we'll cut down the middle. This guy's left with probably around $43 after all those taxes. Now, if it was $10,000, that would work out to $4,300. So after 10 months, you only get $4,300. Okay, and if it was $20,000, that will work out to $8,600. $8,600 after 10 months. So wow, just great. Thanks a whole lot, UFC. 10 months. No, you go ahead and you take 8,300. Is it 83 or 86? Whatever. If it's, let's even round it up. We call it 8,600. Take $8,600 and you're gonna go ahead and then you're gonna split that down the middle. No, let's not even split down the middle. We just call it 8,300 and you divide the 8,600 divided by 10. That's $860 a month for 10 months of hard training. That guy could go make it at McDonald's. In the meantime, he has bills coming out the wazoo. These fighters don't make a lot of money. So when What in the old days when you had sponsorship, the sponsorship, I know guys who fight professionally in other MMA, what's it called, promotions, and there's one guy he has two sponsors, one and each sponsors, I'm not gonna call his name, but his business or anything like that, but he's a close friend. We're cool. One guy has two sponsors, each sponsor give him 60,000 a year. That's 120,000 in sponsorship plus his winnings, and he's able to train comfortably and be successful at what he does really well. No, you tell the fighters they can't get sponsorships anymore. What's gonna happen? Fine, they have no sponsorship. You see what's happening? They're gonna have to work a full-time job and train part-time. And if you notice in the UFC since of recently, the last event, what was that? That was UFC Fight Night, last Fight Night, the one where Glover Teixeira KO'd Rashad Evans. They brought in a weekend warrior in one of the divisions. This guy was a project manager at a glass-making factory. They brought him in to fight. Now you're going to start seeing more guys who are weekend warriors coming into the UFC to fight. And what's going to happen is that the guys who get to train more often and the top echelon guys who make the better money, they're always going to be winning. So it's like you'll have that one core group of fighters who's winning every time. And it's not because they're good. It's only because the guys that they're fighting haven't had time to train fully or get a full camp. They're coming in either on short notice or with not enough training. You know, you're going to see a lot. That's why I see more weekend warriors coming in. Yeah, and a lot of times you go back and you look. There's the former Strikeforce champion right now. He's selling furniture. I forgot his name. And I respect. Don't get me wrong. What's wrong with that? I respect a man working, do whatever he has to take care of his family. But the point I'm making is that with the way the pay scale is in the UFC and the small amount of money that they make, how would you ever get somebody to contribute to the pension fund? Well, if you don't believe my numbers, I'll put a link here to this video and another article I was reading. It's a very long time ago. Sometimes my photographic memory works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'll put a link to the article. Then you go back and you take the self-employment side of the taxes, state unemployment, and you take the federal side. Then you take, after you do Medicare, FICA, SUTA, and FUTA, after you do all those things, and then the estimated income taxes, of course you'll be able to deduct the gym expenses and that type of stuff, which I did mention. The 86 was taxable income because I deducted the other traveling expenses and so forth. But you go back and you work crunch numbers and you'll see it's almost impossible for them to have a pension because of the small amount of money they get. And the UFC will not, there's no way the UFC would have a pension plan or a profit sharing where they're contributing any matching funds to that pension plan, because the UFC, as much as they like to brag and boast, pay-per-view buys are down, the gate buys are down. Right now they're in a lull. And I can tell you why. This video is long, but you gotta pay attention. Please watch the rest. I can tell you why they're in a lull. The average median income in America, since we've been to the jobless recovery, as our beloved leaders like to tell us, the average median income has gone down by $5,000 a year. You know what that means? Disposable income, that extra money you had that you could buy crap with, you stop spending it. You start to save your money up. So pay-per-view buy is going to keep going on, and people are going to go for their free stuff. People like me, I'm going to watch Spike, get the free fights, and get the UFC fights on YouTube. But if it's something I really, really like, then I'll start setting aside $10 a month here and there so I can pay for it eventually. Alright guys, that's my 2 cents from the fight here. But I don't see the UFC doing no pension anytime soon. And think about this. If you're trying to sell the UFC, you're going to have a pension that you need to fund, and you're going to have a pension obligation that's going to be a part of the liabilities on your balance sheet that's going to bring your valuation down. So they're not going to do it. That's just trash they're talking. I don't see it happening. Alright guys, peace out from the fight chair. Mobile.